Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and I share deck flip throughs, spreads, VRs, and so much more. Today, I want to take you with me on a tour of the Wild Unknown Pocket Archetypes deck. Today, I'm going to share with you a deck that has been on my radar for a very, very long time. And the biggest reason for my delay was because I wasn't sure if I should get the pocket version or if I should go ahead and pick up the full size deck. And I'll share with you quickly what my hang up was. I wanted the full size guidebook and I wanted this size deck. And so I was held up because I was like, gosh, I'm going to have to buy both. I'm going to have to buy both. And so I was going back and forth for quite a bit of time. And finally, my friend Rachel, she put together a video where she went through both of the decks and shared her thoughts on them, and I was finally able to make a decision. And as you can see, I went with the pocket deck. So I want to show you real quick. Super cute, very tight, and you can see how adorable. I mean, even though this is a mini deck, this is a perfect size. Look how well it fits into my hands. It's incredible. So before I get into that, let me show you the guidebook. Here is the teeny tiny guidebook, but believe it or not, it is the full guidebook in here. Everything that you need. Now, can you get by with this? Sure. Is it going to be hard for a person like me? Yes, because the font is really small. But I'm going to make do the best that I can. And, if I have to pull out the magnifying glass, I will. Okay, so before we get into the cards, I wanted to share. So this deck is broken down if you don't have this deck, because a lot of people do. Or if you have the deck and it's been a while since you pulled it out. It's divided into 3 sections. So we have the selves, and then we have the places, and the last one is the tools. And it's a chunky little deck. There's 78 cards in here. And then there's a lot of information in this book. Like all of this is information. Where do we start? Let's see. Here, this is where the selves start. So you can see there's quite a bit of information in this book that you can get into. So I'm going to set that aside and we're going to go through the deck. And what I think I want to do is divide them into the 3 stacks and go through them that way. Let's start with the selves. All right, so we have a mother, father, starborn, eternal child, the orphan, the mentor, the poet, the maiden, the hunter, the warrior, the queen, the king, the crone, the judge, the shapeshifter, the shaman. You see the diamond pattern like the backs. The lover, the siren, the animal, the pilgrim, the mystic, the creator, the destroyer, the sustainer, the healer, oh, the comic, the unseen, the shadow, the self, the one. Oh, so good. The cardstock feels really nice also, I have to say. All right, so pile number 2 is gonna be places. Okay, so we have the heart. Ooh, the cave, the mountain, the river, the ocean, the forest, the desert, the bridge, the temple, ooh, the dead end, the village, the empty room, the castle, the box, the threshold, the womb. That's interesting. It's inside a triangle. With a storm, the underworld, the fault line, and the bardo. Okay, so I think there's less cards in that stack. All right, and then lastly, we're gonna go to tools. We have the flame, the tear, the ripple, the vow, the vision, the gem, the ring, the nectar, the medallion, the kiss, the mask, the sword, oh, the venom, the offering, the prayer. Oh, I like this. The seed, the stone, the mirror, the vessel, the thread, eros, agape, thanatos, apocalypsis, gnosis, kairos, aletheia, and anima mundi. I think I'm gonna shuffle each of the, ooh, that feels so nice. I'm gonna shuffle each of the piles. This is great for overhand shuffling. Oh, I like that. Look at that. All right, so we have the sustainer. So I'm gonna shuffle each of the piles individually and then see what we get. The selves, the place, and the tool. I almost wanted to say person, place, and thing. All right, so give these a shuffle. This cardstock is thin, so I could see that it could bend easily. I already see some bends and it hasn't even been used yet. I don't know if that is just from the humidity here, so we'll have to see. Rachel mentioned that the larger deck is a lot thicker, but because of that, it's also a lot more difficult to shuffle. So here it is right here, the Underworld. All right. I feel like there are so many ways to use a deck like this. It's something I've wanted to add for so long, especially when I decided to start the archetype series. I thought it would be helpful to have a deck like this, but I kept pausing because of the size issue. I really like this little size, but the guidebook is, it could be challenging. But we're gonna start with this one and see how it goes. I mean, the large one would be nice. Ooh, the gem. The large one would be really nice, for altar work. I feel like that would be gorgeous. All right, so we have 3 cards here. So we have the sustainer, the world, and the gem. So let's take a look at the guidebook and see what it says. So we have to use Roman numerals in order to find it. So it depends. Some people, that's their jam. For me, that's a lot of work. So it'll be a work in progress for me. So we have this card here, the sustainer. Let's take a look. Okay. So the sustainer is the peacemaker, the upholder, the preserver. I like that. Now, on the other side of the page, we have, let's see, contemplate what truly sustains you. Make a list. Notice how simple yet powerful those things are and spend some time tending them. I feel like this is going to be a great, how I wanted to use this deck? I wanted to do this as like a weekly card pull and then study each of the cards and maybe do some of the things that it asks. I feel like that would be a great way to use this. So let's see. When light, abundant, generous, supportive, reliable. When dark, overworked, resentful, trapped, tired. And then there's a section called Go Deeper. Oh, interesting. Sorry, I was like, am I seeing things? But no, Go Deeper is giving you some names. So for Go Deeper, we have Lakshmi, Vishnu, and Demeter. So we have various gods that are being provided to us, perhaps as anchors or study for each of the cards. Now, the sustainer says it's the second archetype in the trio of existence, and it works behind the scenes to tend to the tasks of life. So they cultivate gardens, pay bills, keep the meals warm, and the mouth sweetly fed. The sustainer is at peace in the process of life, knowing there is no start or finish to humble yet meaningful tasks. They have a natural inclination to nourish others, to archive, to preserve Earth's resources, to consider environmental impact, to see their role in the divine cycle of life. It is common for the sustainer to become overworked, leading to resentment. Their tasks aren't glamorous, and therefore the sustainer rarely receives the credit or attention. The sustainer longs to hold things in place so badly, especially relationships, that they resist necessary change. Take time with this archetype. It is within us all and needs our love. Gosh, that resonates. Wowzers. Wow, wow, wow. The sustainer. You know why? Because I often feel like that. Right off the top of my head, the job of mother. I feel like sometimes that could be such a thankless job. You're constantly doing, providing, taking care, all the behind the scene things that no one else seems to notice. And yet, the moment that you decide that you're not doing that anymore, all of a sudden people start scratching their heads. Whatever happened to blah, blah, blah? So, yeah, this resonates for me loud and clear. Okay, so we have the sustainer. Let's take a look at the next card, which is place. And we got the underworld. When light, we're looking at bravery, depth, facing of the deepest fears. When dark, denial, suppression, evil, unconsciousness. Now, the key words for this card are the nightmare, the ordeal, the bottom. There is no time to mince words. The archetypal territory of the underworld is fraught with nightmares, suffering, and pain. It is the darkest shadow realm, which we try vigilantly to avoid or deny at any cost. Try as we might, the darkness pulls us into its depths through disturbing dream images, unexpected accidents, illness, war, conflict, and ultimately death. Not visiting the underworld is what gives it dangerous power. Traversing it forces us to bow humbly to the greater forces that be while summoning the inner strength we previously underestimated. Take solace that the underworld subsumes everyone from time to time, making us deeper friends, more intimate partners, soldiers of light amid our shadowy times. Facing darkness and choosing light is the most profound calling of all. Very, very interesting. Let's move on to the last one, which is the tool, and we have the gem. The gem tells us the moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Don't covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. Ooh, find your own. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, when light, unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable. When dark, envy, greed, grasping. All right, so for this archetype, we have the diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. There are infinite names for the gem. It is also known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly deep in the earth amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a descent beneath the surface where there is no definitive map. Yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. Ooh, I'm liking this a lot. Because if you think about it, it would suggest this is what you will find if you go here. This is very cool. And this is an awesome way to use this deck. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do is give my deck a shuffle, and I'm gonna pull a card for each of these archetypes because why not? If we are here to learn more about the deck, more about how to use the deck, more about the archetypes, then why not? I feel like this is a great way to explore. Now, am I gonna like keep these divided into 3 stacks? No, probably not. I'll probably, mix them all together. But since it was still in order, why not? I think it's gonna be cool. So let me shimmy these out of the way. And we'll put these here. Okay, yeah, they're still in frame. And then let's pull a card. All right. So pulling a card for sustainer. Ooh, the Fool. Wow, that's interesting. All right. Then a card for the Underworld. Oh, Judgment. Wow. All right. And then we have the Gem. There. 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so let me make sure that everyone can see. Sometimes I see the cards just fine, but then when I go back in editing, I'm like, what the heck? All right. So remembering back the keywords for the sustainer, we had the peacemaker, the upholder, and the preserver. But with this card of the Fool, I'm wondering if it's not time to shake things up a bit, right? Because the sustainer to me seems like maybe like a creature of habit, doing all the things because it's what you've always done. And the Fool almost suggests, let's do something different, right? Do something. If you can't expect to see change or see results by doing the same thing every single day, if you want to see the change, you have to be the change. Now I'm going back to the Underworld. We had the Nightmare, the Ordeal, and the Bottom. And then we have this card of Judgment, which you can see they're at the bottom and they're being called to rise. How interesting. With this card of Judgment, it's almost like, we've been in this energy here for quite some time. And now it's time to take what we've learned and do something with it. In Light, the keywords were bravery, depth, facing of deepest fears, which is exactly what you have to do when you hear the call of judgment. It's time to rise, because as ugly as this place is, some of us get comfortable here. Some of us get stuck in the muck and the gunk, and we're there for so long that it starts to feel normal. It starts to feel like this is the way it's supposed to be. No, we're there for a purpose. We're there because there's a reason, there's a lesson to be learned. We're not there to stay forever. Ooh. And then we have the Gem. The Gem suggests you're not just going to stumble across it. You're not just going to like, oh, it's my lucky day, here it is. No, like this is something like the booklet said, a diamond in the rough, right? You're going to find it against something that is a stark contrast. And so that indicates that it's not going to be an easy road. It's going to be something that is difficult, something that likely requires a lot of patience, something that you're not going to receive from one moment to the next because it takes time. It takes time to cultivate, it takes time and patience and a lot of hard work. This is so very interesting. This is very cool, very heavy, right? Like, I don't know that I would pull three cards like this. I think I'd rather like pull one card at a time and study it and do the work and get comfortable with the archetype before moving on to the next one. But I think as an exploratory way of using the deck, you could see that there's a lot of possibilities. And the book gives you a lot of different options for spreads if that is your thing. But if not, you can simply take the deck, shuffle it, and create your own reading or do your own thing with it. I kind of like this. Sustainer and the card of the Fool, encouraging us to change things up and do things differently. The Underworld with Judgment, suggesting that maybe it's time to do something with all the things that we have been learning in darkness. Sometimes we stay put where we are because of fear. Fear holds us. And maybe this is saying, you know what, it's time to break out of that. And then the final card, the Gem, suggesting this isn't something that you're going to find from one minute to the next. It takes a lot of time and patience and perseverance. What a beautiful reading. I'm very happy to have this deck finally in the collection, and I'm looking forward to other ways of using this deck. So let me know in the comments if you have this deck, how do you use it? I'm curious if you use it for weekly card pulls, if you use it to ground the theme of a reading, if you use it with spreads. I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. Friends, if you love tarot, please make sure to subscribe, tap the bell icon so that you don't miss my videos. Thank you so much for watching.